In a world where manipulation is an invisible art, the Stoics stand as silent warriors of the mind, untouched and unbroken. They have faced empires, conspiracies, and betrayals, yet they remain clear-eyed and unshaken. Today you will learn how they outsmart the cunning manipulator and how you can too. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear might just change the way you see the world forever. Imagine someone pulling your strings without you even noticing. They know exactly what to say to make you doubt yourself, to twist your emotions, to bend your will. These are the manipulators, masters of illusions and mind games. But the Stoics, with their calm gaze and unyielding principles, have known for centuries how to break free from those traps. The first thing the Stoic understands is this: manipulators feed on your emotions. They live in the shadows of your anger, your fear, your desires. When you let your emotions run wild, you become an easy prey. The Stoic doesn't deny emotions, but they do not let them rule. They observe them. They hold them at arm's length, like a fire that can warm or burn. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." In those words lies the secret to disarming any manipulator. It is not what happens outside that gives them power, but how you choose to see it. When you're faced with manipulation, the Stoic's first weapon is the pause. The manipulator wants you to react without thinking, to get swept up in the moment. The Stoic pauses, they breathe, they create a space where reason can enter. In that space, they find clarity, and clarity is a manipulator's worst enemy. You see, manipulators thrive in confusion. They want you off balance, guessing, doubting. But when you pause, you refuse to be dragged into their drama. You step back and see the bigger picture. You see the patterns. The manipulator loses their grip when you do not give them the emotional fuel they crave. The Stoic also understands the power of principles. When you know who you are and what you stand for, no one can twist your mind. The Stoics built their lives on 4 pillars: wisdom, justice, courage, and self-control. They ask themselves in every situation, is this wise? Is this just? Is this courageous? Is this self-controlled? If it failed these tests, they refused it. The manipulator's web of lies can never entangle someone who lives by clear principles. Imagine someone at work trying to guilt you into taking on their tasks, or a friend who always seems to get their way through subtle threats. A Stoic does not crumble. They calmly assert their boundaries, not with anger, but with quiet firmness. They say no, and they mean it, because they know their values are more precious than approval. Manipulators also use scarcity and urgency to cloud your judgment. They want you to believe that if you don't act now, you'll lose everything. But the Stoic sees through this. They remember that everything in life is temporary. They are not attached to fleeting things, so they cannot be rushed. They act with deliberation, not panic. The manipulator's rush loses its power when you embrace the Stoic's eternal perspective. One of the greatest Stoic practices is negative visualization. Picture the worst that can happen and accept it in your mind. The manipulator's threats become empty when you have already faced them in your imagination. Seneca taught, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Once you see that you can survive the worst, the manipulator's leverage fades like mist in the sun. The Stoic also trains themselves to be content with less. Manipulators often dangle rewards, promises of gain or advantage to lure you in, but the Stoic finds satisfaction in the simple, in the steady. They do not crave what others promise. They find their strength in what cannot be taken away: their reason, their integrity, their peace of mind. Another key to the Stoic's power is self-awareness. Manipulators know your weaknesses, but the Stoic knows them better. They turn inward, daily examining their thoughts, their flaws, their patterns. They are honest with themselves. This self-knowledge is a shield. It means the manipulator cannot surprise them, with truths they have already faced? Have you ever felt someone twisting your words, turning your own feelings against you? The Stoic does not argue endlessly. They do not get caught in webs of half-truths. They listen calmly, they weigh the words, and they speak only what aligns with reason. They do not need to win every argument because their goal is not to dominate but to remain at peace with themselves. The Stoic knows that not every battle must be fought. Manipulators want you to waste your energy on endless conflict. But the Stoic chooses their battles carefully. They ask, "Is this worth my time, my energy, my focus?" If it is not, they let it go. The manipulator is left shouting at shadows. There is a quiet confidence in the Stoic's manner that cannot be faked. It is not arrogance, but the calm of someone who knows they are enough. Manipulators sense this, and it unsettles them. They realize that their usual tricks, guilt, flattery, intimidation, do not work. They see in the Stoic a mind that is its own master. Every day the Stoic sharpens their reason like a blade. They read, they reflect, they meditate. They know that life's challenges, including manipulative people, are tests of their character, and they welcome these tests because they know that a calm mind is forged in the fires of adversity. The manipulator wants you to doubt yourself, to feel small. The Stoic teaches that you are part of something greater, the order of nature, the vastness of the cosmos. In that perspective, the manipulator's game seems small, almost pitiful. When you see how fleeting their schemes are, you gain a freedom they cannot touch. So how do you outsmart a manipulator? You do not react blindly. You pause. You stay anchored in your principles. You see through illusions of scarcity and urgency. You cultivate self-awareness and you choose your battles. You find strength not in the manipulator's approval, but in your own steady mind. Remember, the manipulator's power is an illusion. They cannot control your mind unless you give them permission. The Stoic does not give that permission. They guard their thoughts, their choices, their inner peace as the most precious treasures. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to share it with someone you care about. Subscribe to this channel to continue your journey into Stoic wisdom and psychological mastery. And above all, remember this: you are the master of your own mind. No manipulator can steal that from you unless you let them. Stay calm, stay clear, and live as a Stoic, free